Yeah. Okay. Hello, YouTube. Hi, everyone. We are back to finish our book, Tik-Tok of Oz. Wait. Okay. All right. We are finishing our book tonight. I think we only have 3 chapters left. So, I'm excited, but also a little tense because we've been playing Wizard of Oz Bingo. Let me pull that up now. Is it gonna work? Are you gonna work? Why aren't you working? Hello. Okay, well, for some, let me do it manually then. Let me just do that manually then. Also, I might turn all of this off for the reading portion. We can still, it'll still update, like the chat commands will still work, but just turning it off for the reading VOD part of it. Oh my god, it's because I don't have Canva open. How dumb of me. But yes, we have always, every time we play Wizard of Oz Bingo, we always get like multiple bingos. We've only got 3 chapters left and we do not have a bingo yet. So, hopefully we will get one today. But you don't know what the number was. That's a good point. That's a good point. Wait, wasn't it 169? It's 169. You hate the emote functionality on YouTube? Yeah, it's not the best. It's not the best. But hopefully once I unlock the YouTube partner program, I'll be able to upload my own emotes over there. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, well, I still have to do it manually. Jeez. It's all good. It's all good. Bingo. And bingo. There we go. Yay. How you can type, yes, the colon, and it brings things up. I love that too. Chatterino helps a lot. Yeah, I might look into that one. I was looking into a different chat thing. But then I had already installed it even. But then I got to a point where I was like, oh, to get the full functionality that I wanted, I have to pay. So, I don't know. I might still do it, but we'll see. Be better to be able to find something for free. Hi, Deep Fried. Hello. Some of those empties. Yeah, there are some that honestly we are like a little bit on the fence about. And we're just kind of like waiting to see if something more like out there happens. But honestly, an argument could already be made for Ozma's a shitty ruler. For casual kidnapping, and for Bomb is so over this shit. So, yeah. The only reason we haven't ticked this off, because I feel like the thing that really like shines for Bomb is so over this shit is the fact that he didn't even give the brothers names. But we don't know. He might still be like, oh, well, our names at birth were that. Like, that could still happen. So we're like waiting to see for that one. But anyway, yeah. Yay. Okay. You doubt it? Yeah, I doubt it too. I doubt it too. So anyways, I think there's a good chance that we will get a bingo. Yeah, he said, I'm Shaggy. Like, that wasn't your name as a kid, you know? And now that the Shaggy's brother isn't ugly anymore, are they still just gonna call him ugly? Like, yeah, it was just a description, the Shaggy man. But now they call him Shaggy. He just never, no one, did anyone even say, like, by the way, what actually is your name? No one bothered to ask, and he never offered anything. And now in this case, it's like, okay, sure, the gnomes call your brother the ugly one, but, like, not one of them was like, well, let's not call him that. Like, what would you prefer to be called? And they just started calling him ugly to his face. They're like, hey, ugly. Like, come on. Not one of them was like, well, what's his actual name? And the whole time that they're, like, looking for him, never once did they say, what's your brother's name? Like, it's just, he goes from being just the Shaggy Man's brother to the ugly one. And now he no longer has the curse of ugliness on him. But what are they going to call him? Yeah. And these brothers are just, like, really problematic because Shaggy walks around with a love magnet that basically brainwashes people into loving him against their will. And he's used it to abduct several children at this point. And the ugly one... Wait, oh my god, I just got a flashback of Teen Girl Squad. The ugly one! Cheerleader, so-and-so. What's her name? The ugly one. Okay. They're not as cool as that. They're not that cool. But the way that he breaks the curse, he has to get a girl to kiss him. And so he just stands in this dark hallway with the 3 young ladies of the group, and they all have to kiss him. You're looking so makey-outy tonight. Banana, thank you for the 5-stream streak. Oh my god, Teen Girl Squad is so good. Ow, my stomach lining. Arrowed. Armadilloed. I miss video games. I miss my mom. Okay, alright. We are reading literature. Kind of. It feels like a stretch to call this literature, to be honest, but... It is a huge throwback. Oh, man. I love you, Brett Bredesen. Okay, if you are following along with me, which, by the way, you can do that by clicking on the link that is pinned in chat. You can download this book for absolutely free from Project Gutenberg. It is in the public domain, which is freaking awesome. And we are picking up with chapter 23. They're traveling in Fae country, and one of the main rules when dealing with Fae is to never give them your real name. But, like, he's already agreed to live there forever. And, like, Dorothy has given her real name, and so has Auntie Em and Uncle Henry, and, like, they're fine. They're demonstrably fine. So there's really no reason. And honestly, it's just another example of how shitty their friend group is, that they've never actually asked him what his name is. Unironically calls him ugly no more. And the fact that when he gets his, like, ugly spell off him, because he'd been saying, he's like, trust, guys, like, before I got this ugly spell, I was freaking beautiful. And then he gets the curse broken, and they all look at him, and who is it? One of them's like, I mean, you're okay. And the other one's like, no, in comparison to how monstrous he was, like, he's beautiful in comparison. And he's like, yeah, I guess so. Come on, guys. This dude has just, like, had his curse broken. And you're like, well, you're okay. Now I'm merely mediocre. Yeah, Calico is the one that was like, you guys, I saw him ugly. Trust me, he's beautiful in comparison. But that wasn't the original question. He wasn't saying, trust me, I'm beautiful in comparison. He was saying, I used to be beautiful, just full on. Yeah. Which is just, they're all dicks to each other. They really are. They really are. Okay. Hi, Tyra. Okay. By the way, you guys, this is not super important, but Calico is spelled with 2 Ks. Calico, the new gnome king. Yes, Ruggedo has been exiled under threat of eggs. He tried to take a bunch of riches. They allowed him. It was too heavy. They found him crying in the corner. Calico's now the king. Bercy? Who's Bercy? Wait, who's Bercy? He's been exiled. Ah, yes. Yes, he has been. Oh, hola, hello, yeah, would prefer not being called that. Thank you. Okay. Hi, Powder, welcome back. Good to see you. Okay, we are picking up now with chapter 23, which is called Ruggedo Reforms. It did not take them long to regain the royal cavern of the Gnome King, where Calico ordered... Oh, okay, that was weird wording. No, I got it. Where Calico ordered served to them the nicest refreshments the place afforded. Ruggedo had come trailing along after the rest of the party, and while no one paid any attention to the old king, they did not offer any objection to his presence or command him to leave them. He looked fearfully to see if the eggs were still guarding the entrance, but they had now disappeared. So he crept into the cavern after the others and humbly squatted down in the corner of the room. There, Betsy discovered him. All of the little girl's companions were now so happy at the success of Shaggy's quest for his brother, and the laughter and merriment seemed so general that Betsy's heart softened toward the friendless old man who had once been their bitter enemy, and she carried to him some of the food and drink. Betsy, you weren't there for all this stuff in the past. This guy is evil. Oh, Ash, thanks for dropping a lurk over on YouTube. I appreciate that. Like, this guy, when he had his magic belt, was just turning people into ornaments forever. And it just, like, amused him to just turn people into inanimate objects and decorate his home with them. Yeah, a whole family, yeah. And he's, like, physically abused a lot of his followers. Like, he's a bad guy. But Ruggedo's eyes filled with tears at this unexpected kindness. He took the child's hand in his own and pressed it gratefully. "Look here, Calico," said Betsy, addressing the new king. "What's the use of being hard on Ruggedo? All his magic power is gone, so he can't do any more harm, and I'm sure he's sorry he acted so badly to everybody." "Are you?" asked Calico, looking down at his former master.
"I am," said Ruggedo. "The girl speaks truly. I'm sorry, and I'm harmless. I don't want to wander through the wide world on top of the ground, for I'm a gnome. No gnome can ever be happy any place but underground."
"That being the case," said Calico, "I will let you stay here, as long as you behave yourself. But if you try to act badly again, I shall drive you out as Tititi Hoochoo has commanded, and you'll have to wander.
Oh, never fear. I'll behave, promised Ruggedo. It is hard work being a king, and harder still to be a good king. But now that I am a common gnome, I am sure I can lead a blameless life.
They were all pleased to hear this, and to know that Ruggedo had really reformed.
I hope he'll keep his word, whispered Betsy to Shaggy. But if he gets bad again, we will be far away from the Gnome Kingdom, and Calico will have to tend to the old gnome himself.
Polychrome had been a little restless during the last hour or two. The lovely daughter of the rainbow knew that she had now done all in her power to assist her Earth friends, and so she began to long for her sky home. You know what? I'm actually going to close my window. One sec.
I think, she said, after listening intently, that it is beginning to rain. The Rain King is my uncle, you know, and perhaps he has read my thoughts and is going to help me. Anyway, I must take a look at the sky and make sure.
So she jumped up and ran through the passage to the outer entrance, and they all followed after her and grouped themselves on a ledge of the mountainside. Sure enough, dark clouds had filled the sky, and a slow, drizzling rain had set in.
Oh, it can't last for long, said Shaggy, looking upward. And when it stops, we shall lose the sweet little fairy we have learned to love. Alas, he continued after a moment, the clouds are already breaking in the west, and, oh, see, isn't that the rainbow coming?
Betsy didn't look at the sky. She looked at Polychrome, whose happy, smiling face surely foretold the coming of her father to take her to the cloud palaces. A moment later, a gleam of sunshine flooded the mountain, and a gorgeous rainbow appeared. With a cry of gladness, Polychrome sprang upon a point of rock and held out her arms. Straightway, the rainbow descended until its end was at her very feet, when, with a graceful leap, she sprang upon it, and was at once clasped in the arms of her radiant sisters, the daughters of the rainbow. But Polychrome released herself to lean over the edge of the glowing arch and nod, and smile, and throw a dozen kisses to her late comrades. "Goodbye," she called, and they all shouted "Goodbye" in return and waved their hands to their pretty friend. Slowly, the magnificent bow lifted and melted into the sky until the eyes of the earnest watchers saw only fleecy clouds flitting across the blue. "I'm dreadful sorry to see Polychrome go," said Betsy, who felt like crying. "But I suppose she'll be a good deal happier with her sisters in the sky palaces."
"Oh, to be sure," returned Shaggy, nodding gravely. "It's her home, you know, and those poor wanderers who, like ourselves, have no home, can realize what that means to her."
"Shaggy, you have a home. You literally have a whole suite of luxurious rooms at the palace in the Emerald City. Stop LARPing as a hobo. Like, you were in the past actually a hobo, but like, you don't have to be anymore. You're doing this by choice."
"Once," said Betsy, "I too had a home. Now I've only... Do dear old Hank.
She twined her arms around her shaggy friend, who was not human, and he said, in a tone that showed he understood her mood. And the shaggy friend, who was human, stroked the child's head tenderly and said, "Well, you're wrong about that, Betsy dear. I will never desert you."
Nor I,
exclaimed Shaggy's brother in earnest tones. The little girl looked up at them gratefully, and her eyes smiled through their tears. Who was her family? Literally, we have never heard a word about who her family is. We don't know where she was traveling on the ship. We don't know if anyone on the ship was related to her. She did not seem upset that the ship literally exploded in front of her. You know what? We are ticking off Bomb doesn't give a shit. Because this is the most egregious case of, like, not giving a shit about a character. Yeah, we're ticking it off, okay? This is so horrible. Like, just... Bomb does not care. Bomb is so over this shit. Casual kidnapping. Let's discuss this again, okay? Ruggido kidnapped Ugly. Yes? He stole him from a mine shaft in the States. Ugly was just mining away. Right, that's not casual. Is, like, taking someone as prisoner the same thing as kidnapping? Are we getting pedantic with this? He took someone and held him prisoner. Is that kidnapping? Basically took him and locked him up in his basement. It's not like when they scooped up Dorothy's aunt and uncle without consent, but he still got taken unawares with no warning. Gang pressed into the army. He was just minding his own business. ICS, hello. Prisoner is not kidnapping if it is within the law. I mean, it was done by the king of that land. You miss Polychrome already? Yeah, she's good. Who got locked up in your basement? No, in the book. He saw it as trespassing, but that's crazy. I mean, he was crazy. The new king doesn't think that he deserves to be held prisoner. The laws were not corrupt, but if it... Yeah, but then that wouldn't have counted. Like, we used this one for when they took Uncle Henry and Auntie Em, right? Just without warning. But, like, Ozma was behind that, you know? I don't know. That's the question. We can put it to a vote. Should we put it to a vote? Let's do that. Can, wait, where is, okay, poll. New poll. Was Ugly kidnapped? Yes or no? Okay, you guys. You only have 1 minute to vote, okay? And this is only on Twitch. Sorry about this. 1 minute to vote. Was Ugly kidnapped? You should see the poll up. birthday flavored coffee creamer? Damn. That sounds tasty. You have no idea, but you said yes anyway. Hell yeah. You weren't lit, Fidge? Shaky using the love magnet to get the kid and Polly to go with him. I don't think he technically used that to get them to go with him. I think they went with him out of necessity. He mainly used it to let the other people, like, let them go. The reason casual is in there is because people don't, like, react to it. People are just like, oh. Not that the kidnapping itself was casual, it's like the reaction to it. People are unfazed. People voted yes. Okay. Okay. Which does mean that we got a bingo. That we got a bingo. It is pretty egregious because the Gnome King, the old Gnome King, considered everything under the surface of the earth, all the way around the world, to be his. But Ugly was just a miner in, like, Colorado, digging in a mine shaft, not knowing that the fairyland or the Gnome King even existed. And then he just gets taken because the Gnome King thought, like, well, this dude has mined too much gold and the gold is mine. Like, I would argue that is not within his jurisdiction. But Marbies tonight, we're gonna be playing Marbies tonight. Heck yeah. Tik-Tok, yeah, I don't think he's been kidnapped. I'm really disappointed he didn't wind down at a dramatic moment. Instead, they just tripped him and put a heavy object on his chest. Oh, Shay, what? Thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you. Oh, man. Okay, let's keep reading. Thor, you're gonna be so disappointed in me. I'll try to get something sorted this weekend, okay? Okay.
All right, she said. It's raining again, so let's go back into the cavern.
Rather soberly, for all loved Polychrome and would miss her, they re-entered the dominions of the Gnome King. Oh shit. Okay, buckle up, guys. Chapter 24. Dorothy is delighted. Aww. Say it qualifies as cat because no one bats an eye at it in the story. Yeah. Yeah. True, true. Okay, okay. You just rewatched a few Teen Girl Squads. No, they're so good. Just one book? No, no. Actually, there was one book without Dorothy. It was book number 2. With Tip. Yeah. Okay. Chapter 24. Dorothy is delighted.
Well, said Queen Anne, when all were again seated in Calico's royal cavern, I wonder what we shall do next. Well, if I could find my way back to Oogaboo, I'd take my army home at once, for I'm sick and tired of these dreadful hardships. Don't you want to conquer the world? Asked Betsy.
No, I've changed my mind about that, admitted the Queen. The world is too big for one person to conquer, and I was happier with my own people in Oogaboo. I wish... Oh,
how I earnestly wish that I was back there this minute.
So do I,
Yelled every officer in a fervent tone. Now, it is time for the reader to know that in the faraway land of Oz, the lovely ruler, Ozma, had been following the adventures of her Shaggy Man and Tik-Tok and all the others they had met. Day by day, Ozma, with the wonderful Wizard of Oz seated beside her, had gazed upon a magic picture in a radium frame.
Not the fucking radium again. In a radium frame.
Which occupied one side of the ruler's cozy boudoir in the palace of the Emerald City. And the singular thing about this magic picture was that it showed whatever scene Ozma wished to see, with the figures all in motion, just as it was taking place. So Ozma and the wizard had watched every action of the adventurers, from the time Shaggy had met shipwrecked Betsy and Hank in the Rose Kingdom, at which time the Rose Princess, a distant cousin of Ozma, had been exiled by her heartless subjects. When Anne and her people so earnestly wished to return to Oogaboo, Ozma was sorry for them, and remembered that Oogaboo was a corner of the land of Oz. She turned to her attendant and asked, "Cannot your magic take these unhappy people to their old home, wizard?"
"It can, your highness,"
replied the little wizard. "I think the poor queen has suffered enough in her misguided effort to conquer the world," said Ozma, smiling at the absurdity of the undertaking. "So no doubt she will hereafter be contented in her own little kingdom. Please send her there, wizard, and with her the officers and files."
"What about the Rose Princess?"
asked the wizard. "Send her to Oogaboo with files," answered Ozma. "They have become such good friends that I am sure it would make them unhappy to separate them."
Girl, they're banging. They're banging. They're together. They're together. Yeah, she's not. The wizard doesn't have to do this. You have a magic belt, Ozma. I think we need to tick off Ozma's a shitty ruler. She's also just using her subjects like they're her own reality TV show. What are you doing the rest? Like, why are you just sitting around watching them for their whole journey? Are you not doing any of your other duties during that time? Like, what is this? Is not. I'm calling it. We are taking that off. Ozma, you're a shitty ruler. You suck at your job. You suck at your job, Ozma. Oh. Oh man. Okay. "Very well," said the wizard, and without any fuss or mystery whatever, he performed a magical rite that was simple and effective. Therefore, those seated in the Gnome King's cavern were both startled and amazed when all the people of Oogaboo suddenly disappeared from the room, and with them, the Rose Princess. At first, they could not understand it at all, but presently Shaggy suspected the truth, and believing that Ozma was now taking an interest in the party, he drew from his pocket a tiny instrument, which he placed against his ear. Ozma, observing this action in her magic picture, at once caught up a similar instrument from a table beside her and held it to her own ear. The two instruments recorded the same delicate vibrations of sound and formed a wireless telephone, an invention of the wizard. Those separated by any distance were thus enabled to converse together with perfect ease and without any wire connection. Can you guys imagine? Oh my god.
Do you hear me, shaky man? Asked Ozma.
Yes, Your Highness,
He replied. I have sent the people of Oogaboo back to their own little valley, announced the ruler of Oz, so do not worry over their disappearance.
That was very kind of you, said Shaggy, but Your Highness must permit me to report that my own mission here is now ended. Well, I found my lost brother, and he's now beside me, freed from the enchantment of ugliness which Ruggedo cast upon him. Tik-Tok has served me and my comrades faithfully, as you requested him to do, and I hope you will now transport the Clockwork Man back to your fairyland of Oz.
I will do that, replied Ozma. But how about yourself, Shaggy?
I've been very happy in Oz, he said, but my duty to others forces me to exile myself from that delightful land. What? I must take care of my newfound brother, for one thing, and I have a new comrade in a dear little girl named Betsy Boppin, who has no home to go to, and no other friends but me and a small donkey named Hank. I've promised Betsy never to desert her as long as she needs a friend, and so I must give up the delights of the land of Oz forever.
Or, Shaggy, or this girl might be happier in the Emerald City with other young girls, especially like meeting, like, look, we hate Dorothy, but she's another human girl from the United States of America. Why do you think that she would be happier wandering like a hobo with two old men? Like, is this really the best for her? Hi, Blue Casket, thank you for the stretch redeem. Like, this does not seem like the biggest, or the best choice for Betsy. He said this with a sigh of regret, and Ozma made no reply, but laid the tiny instrument on her table, thus cutting off all further communication with the Shaggy Man. But the lovely ruler of Oz still watched her magic picture with a thoughtful expression upon her face, and the Yes? Can I help you? What? What? Are you okay? What's going on? There's nothing happening right now. And the little Wizard of Oz watched Ozma and smiled softly to himself. In the cavern of the Gnome King, Shaggy replaced the wireless telephone in his pocket, and turning to Betsy, said, in as cheerful a voice as he could muster, "Well, little comrade, what shall we do next?" "I don't know, I'm sure," she answered with a puzzled face. "I'm kind of sorry our adventures are over, for I enjoyed them, and now that Queen Anne and her people are gone, and Polychrome is gone, and oh dear me, where's Tik-Tok, Shaggy?"
He's also disappeared, said Shaggy, looking around the cavern and nodding wisely. By this time he's in Ozma's palace, in the land of Oz, which is his home.
"Isn't it your home too?" asked Betsy.
We used to be, my dear, but now my home is wherever you and my brother are. We are wanderers, you know, but if we stick together, I'm sure we shall have a good time.
Says who? You're making this choice unilaterally for the other people in your party. You haven't even asked your brother if he wants to live your hobo dream life. Oh my goodness. Hank is amazing. He was just a donkey on a ship. Yet Hank has just stuck with her. he can't even talk. We don't know if he has gained like extra understanding by being in a fairyland. Like, he's just a donkey, but he's awesome. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, Nexus. Have a good sleep. Have a good sleep. Okay. Then, said the girl, let us get out of this stuffy underground cavern and go in search of new adventures. I'm sure it has stopped raining.
I'm ready,
Said Shaggy, and then they bade goodbye to King Calico and thanked him for his assistance and went out to the mouth of the passage. The sky was now clear and a brilliant blue in color. The sun shone brightly, and even this rugged, rocky country seemed delightful after their confinement underground. Hi. There were but 4 of them now. Betsy and Hank, and Shaggy and his brother, and the little party made their way down the mountain and followed a faint path that led toward the southwest. During this time, Ozma had been holding a conference with the wizard, and later with Tik-Tok, whom the magic of the wizard had quickly transported to Ozma's palace. Tik-Tok had only words of praise for Betsy Bobbin. "Who," he said, "is almost as nice as Dorothy herself." Damn. "Let us send for Dorothy," said Ozma, and summoning her favorite maid, who was named Jellia Jam, she asked her to request Princess Dorothy to attend her at once. So, a few moments later, Dorothy appeared. Dorothy entered Ozma's room and greeted her and the wizard and Tik-Tok with the same gentle smile and simple manner that had won for the little girl the love of everyone she met. "Did you want to see me, Ozma?" she asked. "Yes, dear. I'm puzzled how to act, and I want your advice." "I don't believe it's worth much," replied Dorothy, "but I'll do the best I can. What's it all about, Ozma?" "You all know," said the girl ruler, addressing her 3 friends, "what a serious thing it is to admit any mortals into this fairyland of Oz. It is true I have invited several mortals to make their home here, and all of them have proved true and loyal subjects. Indeed, no one of you 3 was a native of Oz. Dorothy and the wizard came here from the United States, and Tik-Tok came from the land of Ev. But of course he is not a mortal. Shaggy is another American, and he is the cause of all my worry, for our dear Shaggy will not return here and desert the new friends he has found in his recent adventures, because he believes they need his services." "Shaggy Man was always kind-hearted," remarked Dorothy. "But who are these new friends he's found?" "One is his brother, who for many years has been the prisoner of the Gnome King, our old enemy Ruggido. This brother seems a kindly, honest fellow, but he's done nothing to entitle him to a home in the land of Oz." "Who else?" asked Dorothy. "Well, I've told you about Betsy Bobbin, the little girl who was shipwrecked, in much the same way you once were, and has since been following the Shaggy Man in his search for his lost brother. You remember her, do you not?" "Oh, yes," exclaimed Dorothy. "I've often watched her and Hank in the magic picture, you know. Oh, she's a dear little girl, and old Hank is a darling. Where are they now?" "Look and see," replied Ozma with a smile at her friend's enthusiasm. Dorothy turned to the picture, which showed Betsy and Hank, with Shaggy and his brother, trudging along the rocky paths of a barren country. "Seems to me," she said musingly, "that they're a good way from any place to sleep or any nice things to eat." "You are right," said Tik-Tok. "I have been in that country
and it is a wilderness.
Oh, it's the country of the gnomes,
Explained the wizard.
who are so mischievous that no one cares to live near them. I'm afraid Shaggy and his friends will endure many hardships before they get out of that rocky place. Unless...
He turned to Ozma and smiled. Unless I ask you to transport them all here, she asked.
Yes, Your Highness.
Could your magic do that?
Inquired Dorothy.
I think so,
Said the wizard.
Well, said Dorothy, as far as Betsy and Hank are concerned, I'd like to have them here in Oz. Oh, it would be such fun to have a girl playmate of my own age, you see. And Hank is such a dear little mule.
Ozma laughed at the wistful expression in the girl's eyes, and then she drew Dorothy to her and kissed her. Am I not your friend and playmate? She asked. Dorothy flushed. You know how dearly I love you, Ozma, she cried, but you're so busy ruling all this land of Oz that we can't always be together. I know, dear. My first duty is to my subjects, and I think it would be a delight to us all to have Betsy with us. There's a pretty suite of rooms just opposite your own where she can live, and I'll build a golden stall for Hank in the stable where the sawhorse lives. Then we'll introduce the mule to the cowardly lion and the hungry tiger, and I'm sure they will soon become firm friends. But I cannot very well admit Betsy and Hank into Oz unless I also admit Shaggy's brother.
and unless you admit Shaggy's brother, you will keep out poor Shaggy, whom we're all very fond of,
said the wizard. Christina, hello, hello. Hi. And Luna, hi Luna. And Leia, hello Leia. And Hades, oh my goodness.
Sean got out of Val's basement. Way to go.
Well, why not admit him?
Demanded Tik-Tok. The land of Oz is not a refuge for all mortals in distress, explained Ozma. I do not wish to be unkind to Shaggy Man, but his brother has no claim on me. Well, the land of Oz isn't crowded, suggested Dorothy. Then you advise me to admit Shaggy's brother, inquired Ozma. Well, we can't afford to lose our Shaggy Man, can we? No, indeed, returned Ozma. What do you say, wizard?
Well, I'm getting my magic ready to transport them all.
And you, Tik-Tok?
Shaggy's brother is a good fellow, and we can't spare Shaggy.
So then, the question is settled, decided Ozma. Perform your magic, wizard. He did so, placing a silver plate upon a small standard and pouring upon the plate a small quantity of pink powder, which was contained in a crystal vial. Then he muttered a rather difficult incantation, which the sorceress Glinda the Good had taught him, and it all ended in a puff of perfumed smoke from the silver plate. This smoke was so pungent that it made both Ozma and Dorothy rub their eyes for a moment.
You must pardon these disagreeable fumes, said the wizard. I assure you, the smoke is a very necessary part of my wizardry.
Look, cried Dorothy, pointing to the magic picture. They're gone. All of them are gone. Indeed, the picture now showed the same rocky landscape as before, but the three people and the mule had disappeared from it.
Well, they're gone, said the wizard, polishing the silver plate and wrapping it in a fine cloth, because they are here.
At that moment, Jellia Jam entered the room. Your Highness, she said to Ozma, the Shaggy Man and another man are in the waiting room and asked to pay their respects to you. Shaggy is crying like a baby, but he says they are tears of joy. Send them here at once, Jellia, commanded Ozma. Also, continued the maid,
A girl and a small-sized mule have mysteriously disappeared.
Oh, no, I read that wrong, you guys. That's not what happened.
And a small-sized mule have mysteriously arrived, but they don't seem to know where they are or how they came here. Shall I send them too? Oh no, exclaimed Dorothy, eagerly jumping up from her chair. I'll go meet Betsy myself, for she'll feel awful strange in this big palace.
And she ran down the stairs, 2 at a time, to greet her new friend, Betsy Bobbin. Okay, we got 1 chapter left. Okay. Hi, Lima Crazy. Hello. Cute little drawing of Toto. There's a little drawing of Toto. Do you guys want to see? Kindle. There's Toto. Let me make this bigger. There's Toto jumping. And we also have this picture of the sawhorse looking at Hank the mule. Sawhorse, Hank the mule. Hank looks pissed off. What the hell? Hank looks like he wants to just stomp that sawhorse into sawdust. Jeez, okay. Chapter 25. The Land of Love. Elk, thank you for the tip. Thank you for the tip. Oh my goodness. You did not have a good day. Okay, the 172. Yay! Thank you, Fitch. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Elk. Yay. Okay. Oh, is that from Sean? Are you wrapping it up with the under $1 one from before? Are you combining those? I think Sean's keeping track of the bits between hundreds, yeah. Oh, Sean, you legend. Oh my goodness. No, they're not beans! Oh man. Okay. We're just using bean count, that's all. Chapter 25. The Land of Love. Well, is hee-haw all you were able to say? Inquired the sawhorse, as he examined Hank with his knot eyes and slowly wagged the branch that served him for a tail. They were in a beautiful stable in the rear of Ozma's palace, where the wooden sawhorse, very much alive, lived in a gold-paneled stall, and where there were rooms for the Cowardly Lion and the Hungry Tiger, which were filled with soft cushions for them to lie upon and golden troughs for them to eat from. Beside the stall of the sawhorse had been placed another for Hank the mule. This was not quite so beautiful as the other, for the sawhorse was Ozma's favorite steed, but Hank had a supply of cushions for a bed, which the sawhorse did not need because he never slept, and all this luxury was so strange to the little mule that he could only stand still and regard his surroundings and his queer companions with wonder and amazement. The Cowardly Lion, looking very dignified, was stretched out upon the marble floor of the stable, eyeing Hank with a calm and critical gaze, while nearby crouched the huge, hungry tiger, who seemed equally interested in the new animal that had just arrived. The sawhorse, standing stiffly before Hank, repeated his question.
Is hee-haw all you are able to say?
Hank moved his ears in an embarrassed manner. Nimbus, what is happening? What is happening? Is she bothering you? You guys are such chatterboxes right now. Are you okay? Can I trust you to behave? Okay. Like, I don't know. Yeah, the sawhorse is just mocking him. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Sorry, my things are just really, really, really bothering me. Okay. Okay. Sorry, let's get back to it. To this mule getting mocked by a stick of wood. Hank moved his ears in an embarrassed manner.
I've never said anything else until now,
he replied. And then he began to tremble with fright to hear himself talk. He can talk! Oh shit, that's another thing on the bingo board. New talking animal. Oh my god, wait, does that mean that Toto is just trolling everyone? Can Toto actually talk and he just chooses not to? Oh my god. Okay. New talking animal introduced. Oh my god. Toto's just exceptionally stupid. That's also an option. That is also an option. Okay. Alright. Hell yeah. Let's go, Hank. And then he began to tremble with fright to hear himself talk.
Well, I can well understand that,
remarked the lion, wagging his great head with a swaying motion.
Strange things happen in this land of ours, as they do everywhere else. I believe you came here from the cold, civilized outside world, did you not?
I did, replied Hank.
1 minute I was outside of Oz, and the next minute I was inside. That was enough to give me a nervous shock, as you may guess. But to find myself able to talk, as Betsy does, is a marvel that staggers me.
That is because you are in the land of Oz, said the sawhorse. All animals talk in this favored country, and you must admit it is more sociable than to bray your dreadful hee-haw, which nobody can understand.
Mules understand it very well,
declared Hank.
Oh, indeed.
Oh, no, wait.
Oh, indeed. Then there must be other mules in your outside world,
said the tiger, yawning sleepily. There are a great many in America,
said Hank. Are you the only tiger in Oz? No, acknowledged the tiger. I have many relatives living in the jungle country, but I am the only tiger living in the Emerald City. There are other lions, too, said the sawhorse, but I am the only horse of any description in this favored land. That is why this land is favored, said the tiger. You must understand, friend Hank, that the sawhorse puts on airs because he is shod with plates of gold, and because our beloved ruler, Ozma of Oz, likes to ride upon his back. Betsy rides upon my back, declared Hank proudly. Who's Betsy? The dearest, sweetest girl in all the world. The sawhorse gave an angry snort and stamped his golden feet. Raiders! Hi, Raiders! Oh, snap! Dreamers incoming. Hi, Bowman. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hello, Bowman. Thank you so much for the raid. Hi, Lily. Hi, Cosmic Unicorn. Hi, Alina. Hi, Joe. Hi, Rafa. Hi, Floral. How are you guys doing? You guys make sure, if you're not already following the iconic Bowman Dean, make sure you are. His ASMR is just so top-notch, so creative, so tingly. Bowman's awesome. Make sure you're dropping a follow. Hello. Corpse Roller, hello. If any of you are new here, hi, I'm Faolkor. We do a mixture of traditional ASMR triggers and soft-spoken story time and book reading. Yes, and I have guinea pigs, and they're the real stars of the show. I haven't forgotten you. Aw, thank you, Joe. Thank you. We are... What, you want me to show you? Okay, oh wait. Well, we can't even see you guys right now. You're hiding in the corner. Well, there's Cloud. You can see Cloud at least. They're being really chatty right now. We are reading... We're literally... I don't know what they're complaining about. Literally nothing is wrong with their life in there right now. They've got everything they can want. I don't know. I'm not currently giving them veggies, I guess. But they've had veggies today. Like... But it's not currently happening, so... Hi, Blue Jay. Corpse Roller, thank you for the follow. We've been reading the 8th book in the Wizard of Oz series called Tik-Tok of Oz. We are literally in the final chapter. The sawhorse is being such a little Regina George to the newcomers. And we've been playing Wizard of Oz Bingo, and we've gotten one bingo so far, which means we will be playing marbles on stream after this, and we are close to getting a couple of other bingos, so yeah. Rafa, thank you for the follow. Everything but their freedom. They have the entire kitchen. They have my whole kitchen. They're not even in a cage, like what more do they want? Not enough. They need the whole world. All right, so get cozy if you'd like to hear the end of the story. Like I said, we're in the last chapter, and once we wrap this up, we will be doing some more traditional ASMR triggers and playing marbles on stream. So that will be happening shortly. Oh my god, Luna, damn. Okay, and Bowman, thank you again so much for this wonderful raid. Please feel free to skedaddle
whenever you need to, okay? Thank you, thank you. All right. Man, the sawhorse is being really rude, like exceptionally rude. Okay. We are currently in the royal stables in the Emerald City with the sawhorse, the cowardly lion, the hungry tiger, and Hank, the mule, who has just come to Oz. And they're talking to him and giving him the lowdown. So they just asked, who is Betsy? Hank says, the dearest, sweetest girl in all the world. The sawhorse gave an angry snort and stamped his golden feet. The tiger crouched and growled. Slowly, the great lion rose to his feet, his mane bristling. "Friend Hank," said he, "either you are mistaken in judgment, or you are willfully trying to deceive us. The dearest, sweetest girl in the world is our Dorothy, and I will fight anyone, animal or human, who dares to deny it." "So will I," snarled the tiger, showing 2 rows of enormous white teeth. You guys, Hank's never met Dorothy. Like, what do you want from him? "You are all wrong," asserted the sawhorse in a tone of scorn. "No girl living can compare with my mistress, Ozma of Oz." Yet they're all about to, like, throw down for their girls.
Hank slowly turned around until his heels were toward the others. Then he said stubbornly,
"Well, I'm not mistaken in my statement, nor will I admit there can be a sweeter girl alive than Betsy Bobbin. If you want to fight, come on. I'm ready for you."
While they hesitated, eyeing Hank's heels doubtfully, a merry peal of laughter startled the animals, and turning their heads they beheld 3 lovely girls standing just within the richly carved entrance to the stable. In the center was Ozma, her arms encircling the waists of Dorothy and Betsy, who stood on either side of her. Ozma was nearly half a head taller than the 2 other girls, who were almost of one size. Unobserved, they had listened to the talk of the animals, which was a very strange experience indeed to little Betsy Bobbin. "You foolish beasts," exclaimed the ruler of Oz, in a gentle but chiding tone of voice. "Why should you fight to defend us, who are all 3 loving friends, and in no sense rivals? Answer me," she continued, as they bowed their heads sheepishly.
"Why have the right to express my opinion, Your Majesty,"
pleaded the lion. "And so have the others," replied Ozma. "I am glad you and the hungry tiger love Dorothy best, for she was your first friend and companion. I am also pleased that my sawhorse loves me best, for for together we have endured both joy and sorrow. Hank has proved his faith and loyalty by defending his own little mistress. And so, you are all right in one way, but wrong in another. Our land of Oz is a land of love, and here friendship outranks every other quality. Unless you can all be friends, you cannot retain our love." They all accepted this rebuke very meekly. Bonsai Bear, thank you for the follow. The tiger's name is the Hungry Tiger because all he wants to do is eat fat babies. I'm not kidding. But he doesn't because it's wrong. But he wants to. He wants to eat all the fat babies. "All right," said the sawhorse quite cheerfully. "Shake hoofs, friend mule." Hank touched his hoof to that of the wooden horse.
Let us be friends and rub noses,
said the tiger. So Hank modestly rubbed noses with the big beast. The lion merely nodded and said, as he crouched before the mule,
Any friend of our beloved ruler is a friend of the cowardly lion. That seems to cover your case. If ever you need help or advice, friend Hank, call on me.
Okay, I laughed a little bit because, okay, little story time. When I was like 5, I had this friend, a little boy. He was like one of my best friends at the time. We were in the same kindergarten class. And his favorite animal was black panthers. And so we would play at pretending we were Black Panthers. And like we were so in it, we were 5, right? But we wanted to pretend that we were like a husband and wife Black Panther. And we were pretending that his like little sister, who was like a toddler, was like our baby Black Panther. But we didn't know how babies were made. And so we were like, oh, let's rub noses. And that's how we make a baby panther. Like, it was all very wholesome. Like, so cute, right? Like, very, very wholesome. But just, the tiger's like, let's rub noses. I'm like, because to me, jungle cats rubbing noses, that obviously means they're making babies. But also, like, isn't that adorable, though? Like, because it was just coming from, like, such a pure little place. Like, oh, yeah, I'll just rub noses. Lockdown, thank you for using your Prime here. Thank you, Lockdown, for subbing for 17 months so far. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Okay. You love hanging out here? I love you hanging out here. Thank you. Okay. Why, this is as it should be, said Ozma, highly pleased to see them so fully reconciled. Then she turned to her companions. Come, my dears, let us resume our walk. As they turned away, Betsy said wonderingly, Do all the animals in Oz talk as we do? Almost all, answered Dorothy. I feel like their voices are too close together. There's a yellow hen here, and she can talk, and so can her chickens. And there's a pink kitten upstairs in my room who talks very nicely. But I've got a little fuzzy black dog named Toto who's been with me in Oz a long time, and he's never said a single word but bow wow. Do you know why? Asked Ozma. Well, he's a Kansas dog, so I suppose he's different from these fairy animals, replied Dorothy. Well, Hank isn't a fairy animal, any more than Toto, said Ozma. Yet as soon as he came under the spell of our fairyland, he found he could talk. It was the same with Bellina, the yellow hen whom you brought here at one time. The same spell has affected Toto, I assure you. But he's a wise little dog, and while he knows everything that is said to him, he prefers not to talk. Goodness me, exclaimed Dorothy. I never suspected Toto was fooling me all this time. Then she drew a small silver whistle from her pocket and blew a shrill note upon it. Is she going to force him to talk against his will? A moment later, there was a sound of scurrying footsteps, and a shaggy black dog came running up the path. Dorothy knelt down before him, and, shaking her finger just above his nose, she said, Toto, haven't I always been good to you? Toto looked up at her with his bright black eyes and wagged his tail. Pow, pow, he said, and Betsy knew at once that meant yes, as well as Dorothy and Ozma knew it, but there was no mistaking the tone of Toto's voice. That's a dog answer, said Dorothy. How would you like it, Toto, if I said nothing to you but bow wow? Toto's tail was wagging furiously now, but otherwise he was silent. This is actually really interesting that Baum is addressing this, because this is something we have pointed out and critiqued in, like, every previous Oz book.
Really, Dorothy, said Betsy, he can talk with his bark and his tail just as well as we can. Don't you understand such dog language? Of course I do, replied Dorothy, but Toto's got to be more sociable. See here, sir, she continued, addressing the dog. I've just learned, for the first time, that you can say words if you want to. Don't you want to, Toto? Woof, said Toto, and that meant no. Not just one word, Toto, to prove you're as good as any other animal in Oz? Woof. Just one word, Toto.
God, she does not respect people's autonomy, does she? Maybe some little kid wrote to him and asked. True, that might have happened. That might have happened.
Just one word, Toto, and then you may run away.
He looked at her steadily a moment.
All right, here I go,
he said, and darted away, as swift as an arrow. He can talk. He got bullied into it. Dorothy clapped her hands in delight, while Betsy and Ozma both laughed heartily at her pleasure and the success of her experiment. Arm in arm, they sauntered away through the beautiful gardens of the palace, where magnificent flowers bloomed in abundance, and fountains shot their silvery sprays far into the air. And by, as they turned a corner, they came upon Shaggy Man and his brother, who were seated together upon a golden bench. The two arose to bow respectfully to the ruler of Oz, as the ruler of Oz approached them.
How are you enjoying our land of Oz?
Ozma asked the stranger. I'm very happy here, Your Highness, replied Shaggy's brother. Also, I'm very grateful to you for permitting me to live in this delightful place.
You must thank Shaggy for that, said Ozma. Being his brother, I've made you welcome here.
God, just like reading between the lines, she's like, yeah, I didn't want to let you, but I had to because of your brother. No shit. You guys, he's just calling him brother with a capital B as if it's his name. When you know brother better, said Shaggy earnestly, you'll be glad he's become one of your loyal subjects. Well, I'm just getting acquainted with him myself, and I find much in his character to admire. So you're admitting you don't know him, and you're all taking a gamble on him. Okay. Leaving the brothers, Ozma and the girls continued their walk. Presently, Betsy exclaimed, Shaggy's brother can't ever be as happy in Oz as I am. Do you know, Dorothy, I didn't believe any girl could ever have such a good time anywhere as I'm having now. I know, answered Dorothy. I've felt that way myself lots of times. I wish, continued Betsy dreamily, that every little girl in the world could live in the land of Oz. And every little boy, too. Ozma laughed at this. It is quite fortunate for us, Betsy, that your wish cannot be granted, said she, for all that army of boys and girls would crowd us so that we would have to move away. Yes, agreed Betsy after a little thought. I guess that's true. The end. Okay, the end. Okay, oh shit, okay. Alright, and it ends with a picture of, I think they're gnomes, holding the big gun that grew on the gun tree. I don't know what to read from that. Oops, hold on. I don't know what to read from that. That the final picture in the book is these gnomes just like holding this big gun. Is this foreshadowing? Brother's definitely better than the ugly one, but like just ask him his name. Or like what he wants to be. Like, I don't understand why they can't ask him his name. Don't get it. Man, okay, let's take another look at the bingo board to see if anything else deserves to be filled in. Let us see. Pointless cameos, what do you think? We had a bunch of old characters in there. Were any of them pointless, though? I'm not sure if any of them were pointless. I'm talking about when it's like, also when the crowd was so-and-so, and like they're not even a part of the story, right? There are 14 Oz books. Yep. We're over halfway through. The tiger, for the first time, did not talk about fat babies. Literally every other book when the tiger appears, it talks about how much he wants to eat fat babies. Which kind of makes me feel like he was a pointless cameo, because what do you mean you're not even going to talk about how hungry, like, he did not fulfill his purpose. Bill is best, but Bill was only talked about, not actually in the story. Kansas family rude. Dorothy was rude. She's not the full Kansas family, but does she count for the Kansas family? Like, could it be anyone from the Kansas family? That must be what I meant, because that would be such a hard thing to tick off if all of them need to. Know what I'm saying? Bomb's doing it to mess with us. Glenda doesn't seem very good. The Wiz does. The Wiz did actually good magic. He's getting pretty talented. Hi, Alterman. I think it was just supposed to be like anyone from the Kansas family, because otherwise, like, that would be such a hard thing to tick off. Yeah. Well, I think, no, because we used to have, okay, we have, anyone being mean for no reason. And then didn't we used to have, like, Dorothy being mean for no reason? But then we, like, undid that and made it, or, like, we had people being mean to their friends or something, but then we changed that into Kansas, like, someone from the Kansas family. I do think, I'm gonna, it doesn't make a difference, really. So I am gonna tick off pointless cameos, because I feel like the tiger, bro, that was pointless. You didn't add anything. The conversation would have gone the same if it was just the lion there, Yeah, Dorothy counts as part of the Kansas family for sure. Dude, Enko, I know, okay, I'm really hesitant about this because there's totally, like, cute little queer undertones between Dorothy and Ozma, but I just feel kind of uncomfortable leaning into that because they are children. Not that you can't be gay as a child, you absolutely can, but I mean, what do you think? Do they have crushes on each other? I want to make sure we don't, like, get weird about it, but, like, it does seem like they are kind of in love with each other. I don't know. Age-appropriate love. Ozma is also a child. I think she's a few years older than Dorothy, and it sounds like Betsy's around Dorothy's age. But, like, Dorothy must be, like, getting into her tween years. Ozma's centuries old? I don't think so. Because she was Tip, right? Yeah, I think Kansas Family Rude cameo gets ticked off. Oops. Yep. Because, yeah, she was so rude. Ah, my god, my mouse is, like, freaking out. Hello? There we go. There we go. Ah. How much time has passed since book 2? Yeah. I don't know how much time has passed since Dorothy like first came to Oz, because I feel like in the first book she's probably around like 8, you know? So I feel like at this point she might be like 11, or like it's been a few years, right? So, but they still describe Ozma as like the girl ruler. I don't know if Ozma is like a full-on, is she a teenager, like a young teenager, or is she like a 12-year-old and maybe Dorothy's like 10? I don't know. Bunny Vibes, welcome in. Hello, Bunny Vibes, welcome in, Raiders. Oh my goodness, welcome in, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. You guys, make sure you are following the wonderful Bunny Vibes. Hi, Lexi. Hi, Gentle Tap. Bunny Vibes is such an amazing ASM artist. It is so cozy, so lovely over there. Make sure you're dropping a follow and checking out her content. Gentle Tap, thank you for gifting a sub to Lexi. I know there will be a little cool down, but if we could get a shout out for Lexi Lou as well, that would be awesome. Lexi's another super talented ASM artist. Artax, thank you for the 100 biddies. You think of Dorothy as 12 and Ozma as 14, but before teenagers were invented, they were both children. I hear ya. Yeah, Ozma might be like a young teen. I do think that they're like low-key in love with each other, but like in a non-creepy way. Like the way that children have crushes on each other, you know? Yeah. Hi. Welcome in, you guys. If any of you are new here, I'm Faolkor. We do a mixture of traditional ASMR triggers and soft-spoken cozy story time. We're actually just wrapping up our reading portion, and we're going to be getting back into doing trigger redeems. And because we got a bingo on our Wizard of Oz bingo, we will also be playing some marbles on stream. So yeah, apparently Ozma's like 14 or 15 and Dorothy's about 12. Okay. So, and I think Betsy is around Dorothy's age. Got it. Yeah. Okay, well, let's wrap this up. Congrats, you guys. We got bingo. We are going to be wrapping this. I'm going to be ending the stream on YouTube, but don't go anywhere on Twitch. We're going to keep going. We're going to do some ASMR triggers. To the YouTube viewers, thank you so much for watching. I am currently working towards unlocking the YouTube partner program, so anytime that you spend watching anything on this channel, whether it's live or after the fact, helps me accrue those watch hours that I need. Also, if you enjoyed it and you have not yet subbed to the channel, I would really appreciate it. That's the other metric that I'm working on, so thank you guys so much. My next stream will be on Sunday, so I hope to see you soon. Also, if you're just watching just on this YouTube channel, make sure you are subbed to my other YouTube channel where I do ASMR, and of course to my Twitch stream where it all goes down. Okay, bye YouTube. Bye YouTube. Bye YouTube.